Hello, I'm Annabelle of Annabelle's Interiors of Orange Park, Florida, and I'd like to welcome you to Annabelle's 2017 holiday presentation. But before we get going, I want to give you some quick pointers on things to do when you're starting to set up that Christmas tree. Now, whether you're using artificial or you're using a real tree, most of these pointers will work for either one. The first thing you want to do is get yourself a solid piece of cardboard. Now, you want it to be sturdy enough so that when you place your tree on this, you're going to be able to slide it back and forth. So whether your floor is wood, carpet, brick, tile, whatever you've got, this will enable you to slide that tree back and forth to get it into the position you need for it to be when you've got your decorations all completed on the tree. All right, so we're going to do that. Now, the next thing, whether your tree, again, artificial or real, if it's dragging the floor, you want to get it up off the floor. So the best way to do that is take your piece of cardboard. Then we use in the shop cement block. So we take two cement blocks, put them down, and on top of that we'll put a board of some sort. Now I might even suggest, if you've got an old round tabletop that you use for a little table with the skirted tablecloth on it, that's a good one, because then you have a round base on that tree. After you've done that, now we can start setting up the tree. If you're in the Florida area, I do recommend artificial. If you're up north, of course, you still like the live tree. Now, many people will say in Florida, well, I want the smell of the real tree. But to be perfectly honest, these trees are cut so early that by the time they get to Florida, the real trees lose a lot of their sap, and that's why they start losing needles so quickly. So if you enjoy the idea of vacuuming up needles, this is a good thing to do. Get the live tree, or take the artificial tree, go to a tree farm, and get some branches and stick them in your artificial tree. That way you'll still get the fragrance of a live tree. Now, in setting up an artificial tree, of course, the first thing you're going to do is put that base down, and then you're going to put your first section, the base section of that tree, into the stand. Do not keep putting on pieces. Just get that base on and start fluffing it out. And you're going to start from the inside of that tree branch, pull it down, fluff it out, fluff it up, go all the way around. Then your next step will be get that next piece and the A, B, and C, and get your tree put together in just that same fashion so that the tree will look fluffed. Because so many times you'll wait and you'll get it all put together and you'll let the limbs start falling down and you wonder, why doesn't my tree look full and beautiful? You need to take those steps to make sure you get a beautiful presentation of your tree. Now, next thing you're going to want to do, let's start working the lights. Even though your tree will, for the most part, if it's artificial, come with lights, we may have some new steps for you that you'll just love, because so many of us want a tree that actually we can read by. Now let me show you something else that's new this year that's a little bit exciting, that breaks all my training steps to doing something really different. And that is called the cluster light. And it's brought out by a company called Raz, but it's wonderful. And this is the light itself. Now sadly I don't have it lighted for you, but I will show you what happens when I take this tree, which is right now, it's lighted with its 350 lights. This is called a slim or a pencil tree. And so this is the normal lighting on this tree. Then I took a set of the cluster lights, and in this case, instead of starting at the top and doing the pie shape and all that, I actually started at the bottom. Knowing this tree was going to be in a corner, I just started running the lights randomly at the base of the tree, and when I'm finished, this is what I have. Now I've added 1,300 lights to the 350 lights, so now I have 1,650 lights on this tree. And the thing that's really fun, I have all kinds of functions that I can do with this tree, whether I want a slight blink, another type of blink. There are just all kinds of, there are actually 8 different functions that I can use on this that will make my tree come to life even more than with just my decoration. So if you like a lot of lights, this is the way to go. They're easy to use, and then I'm going to take it right back to the standard function of no blinking, and there you are. So now I've added 1,300 lights easily with one string from the cluster light collection. All right, now the next thing you want to do before you start putting the ornaments on the tree, I want you to get yourself a string, a cord, a rope, but what I might suggest is take an old set of lights that aren't working any longer. Now, lights are braided, and so when you look at those lights, you're going to take them apart, and there is one vacant cord on that string of lights. That's what I want you to use. That's what I want you to take off the cord itself. Give yourself some length on this. Then I want you to take the one end of that cord, and I want you to loop it. Don't make this hard, and just take it, knot it, and now you've got a little loop in there. That's all you need. Then you're going to take that and come down about 1/3 of the way down the tree, 1/4 to 1/3. Get yourself under a good strong branch. Again, whether it's artificial or real, you have a branch in there that's got some strength. And you don't want it to be on an artificial tree where the tree is going to pull apart. So come below that. Then you go into the trunk, run it around the trunk itself, and bring the cord through that loop. All right, just like that. So now you've got a loop around the tree. And eventually, when you have finished decorating your tree, you're going to slide it into position. You're going to take this cord and run it at a 45-degree angle to the wall or to the window or whatever it is. Get yourself a place so that you can lock this in, nail it in, whatever you're going to use. And this, of course, if you don't do it a 45-degree angle, it has no restraint. If you're doing this, this is not going to keep your tree from falling over, but this will. So you measure it up to the wall, and this is not science. You may have to re-loop this string a couple of times. Get your spot on the wall, put your nail in it, and then come back and loop it, make another loop on the other end of your cord so that you can secure your tree to the wall. When you start doing your decorating on the tree, you start with your big pieces, and please don't be afraid to use big ornaments. We're past the 2.5 inch and 3 inch circumference on the balls. We're up to 4, 5, and 6 inches. And it doesn't make any difference how small that tree is. The bigger the ornament, the better it looks. I really love them. And they're not meant to be just on the inside of the tree. So as you're looking at my trees and you start right here with this 5-inch ball, you're gonna see there it is right at the top of the tree on the outside. So start with your bigger ornaments, get them placed on the tree, and you want to take all those ornaments, and you're doing one style at a time in a sense, because you're taking all your big ones and getting them on the tree first. Then you go back with your smaller and smallest ornaments, and your smallest ones will be the last ones to go on. So let's start seeing what Annabelle has done in her store, my store, to make Christmas fun for you as well. So whether your likes are the traditional red and green, whether you like the vintage ornaments of your family, or maybe you'd like to do coastal, or maybe even a hunting tree, we've got it right here at Annabelle's. Come join me.